as we do have this best of 5 grand final of the Kung Fu Cup. In the bottom right hand side, our red Zerg player. This from Triumphant Song Gaming is Solar. And in the bottom left hand side, we do have the Blue Protoss Stats. Another Kung Fu Cup finals for him. Stats won one not so long ago. He kind of just showed up out of nowhere after not playing for a while. And he won one against Ragnarok in the finals. That was actually like 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I think that was the last time Stats played in one of these. Whenever Stats shows up, he actually really does deliver. And there's another PvZ final here. Means Terran will win this for the first time. Sorry, no Terran will win this once again. And it's only happened a few times this year. It's only been 5 of the 13 events this year that have been won by a non-Terran, so that's nice. And of course, at this point, Solo looking for his first actually in this year or so. As Stats says .. Is that because he's taking the gold? I think so. Yeah, Solo's actually made a couple of finals this year, but has not won one. In fact, Solo's been pretty consistent, but yeah, he's looking to win one. He's won 2 Kung Fu Cup weeklies in the past, as has Stats. So one of these guys is going to be up on 3 wins when this is said and done. So this is going to be a gold base from Solar as we focus up on this grand final. Already a few drones coming across to start mining away. We're just going to be seeing the Nexus dropping down from Stats, the Cybernetics core building as well. Just getting ready to go as we do see a few of these drones starting to mine. These guys are going to have a little bit of a laugh with each other. There was some, I say drama, but there was some banter, I suppose, the better word, between Solar and Stats in the Alimo League a little while ago when they played a best of 5, and Solar was taunting Stats a little bit and apparently got Stats on a bit of a tilt. So a little bit of fun between these guys recently. As you see, the Robo facility has the opening from Stats as well, so actually not going to go for the Twilight, not going to go for Glaives or anything. Going to go Robo. I wonder if he wants to set up like a really strong push to hit this gold base, or maybe just Prism behind this gold mineral line. And if you can go behind the gold mineral line, you can deny a lot of the mining that it's otherwise kind of hard to get to without opening up your own base for counterattacks, etc. So gonna see the single Zergling of Solar coming around the left. You're gonna be seeing another gateway dropping down. Proper Stats hanging around there. Just gonna see the natural hatchery setting up as well. All of these lings coming out the front at the moment. The Adept of Stats going to continue forwards. As our Zergling speed is going to be finishing momentarily. So again, that ling speed finished up in a moment or two. I mean, there's a few lings coming across, but shouldn't be too much pressure. Obviously, you are kind of down a couple drones, but that's fine because you're also saturated on the gold already. So your income's higher than it usually would be at this point. As now we see the Roachron, and we'll see what exactly that turns into here from Solar, because it could be with that forward base, just kind of like a Roach Ling, you know, continue to press forwards attack off that stronger gold base economy on less drones. Definitely something we could look at. Gonna see the couple Lings gonna get pulled back. I'm just gonna be seeing a couple extra Stalkers warping in here too. This is gonna be a defensive Solar. They'll be pulling back as well. The Roach Roaring is about to finish up in the main base, so we'll see what Solar plans. He only has gas for 4 Roaches, so starting up a lair. It is just going to be moving in towards a little bit of a later stage here. But now it starts to go in charge and getting in towards the Templar Archives. I do just wonder if this is still just one big attack from Stats, even if his Warp Prism hasn't made his way across the map too successfully yet. I wonder if this is just one big attack to try and come out and try and obviously clean Solar up before too much. But surely it's kind of funky because obviously the gold base is like an easier base for Stats to attack into than usual. But Solar obviously has extra income from that than usual, so obviously then makes it a little bit better as well. Pulls the Stalker away to stay away from the Queen Shot, but then actually loses a Stalker because of it, so the Warp Prism just didn't get back there in time. I mean, there's our extra gateways. So that's going to take us up to 7 in total. I mean, sorry, 8 in total. So yeah, this is just going to be a big old 2-base push. And Stats trying to deal some damage here. Use these Stalkers to some good effect. It's a shame the War Prism took so many shots, because now it's more vulnerable going into the more important stage of this fight, of course. As we get this up and running. A few more Lings in the center. Roach is coming out as well. The charge. Continuing Chrono Boost on the Twilight Council, and just going to be seeing the probe coming down towards the gold base. A couple of these Archons coming over, and they're going to just move across. Doesn't actually fight these Zerglings. The rest of the army from Stats just unloading. An Overseer from Solo coming to scout. I mean, charge about to be done, so it is about time to make this happen. As the Archon drop will just try and deal some damage on the front of it, although Stats actually starting up a couple new probes. Surely, is he really just going to take a gold base? I mean, maybe you can take a gold base and kind of fall back to that afterwards, but I feel like for right here in the moment, you've got to be looking at an attack. And now the army is coming across. He's actually going to intercept some of these units, so it's going to sort of cut this army in half a little bit. I kind of like it for Stats. And Solar does have a good amount of units. Let's see what he can do. Just a couple more Archons coming in. Cancels those High Templar because of the Warping being there, jumped onto by the Zerglings. Now the Roach count is kind of insane, and now it's just going to be the Archons remaining. Solar shuts this down with ease, and Stats did not end up building the Nexus at all, so it was just a commitment across. Maybe a bit of a fake out attempt here by bringing the probe across to the gold location. Now Ravager will start up from Solar, and just going to be seeing a couple extra Archons finishing up on this ramp. Is turning around. The Zards and the Archons coming into this here. The Roaches having to pull back a little bit. The rest of these Archons coming through. Ravager gets it. More Biles coming down. There's just so many Roaches and Ravagers here, and Stats definitely seems to be in some trouble, as we're going to be seeing our Cybernetics core. It's going to take a lot of hits here, and it's going to go down. So now you're forced to warp in only Zealots, and Zealots are only so useful in these sort of fights. And that's obviously part of the problem now, is pressing forwards. I mean, Stalker's being targeted down, Corrosive Biles here and there. There's just not going to be a way to hold this as Stats, I don't think, because Solo comes through into the natural expansion, held off the aggression. And we'll be taking a game number 1 of this best of 5. GG to Stats. Solar takes the first map of this series. Alright guys, well, game number 2 gets set up. 2. As in the bottom left-hand side, our Red Zerg player up 1-0 in this best of 5 grand final of the Kung Fu Cup Weekly. $200 for first place, $100 for second. Our Red Zerg bottom left is Solar. Taking on the Blue Protoss. On the top right-hand side, we do have Stats from the Afrika Freaks. Mala Mike dropping the 5 gifted subs, saying you're not all caught up. Okay, 5 more, 5 more. Angry Snack, Parkway Drive 402, Skander HH, and Wanga Wang for the 1 month's welcome. And Spider Fig on the 2 months. Welcome back. Solar gets hatchery blocked here. Just to mention what this is. He said he gets hatch blocked. He's like, ah. And this is GG. So he's almost like saying, ah, GG, you got my hatch block. And he thinks that this is obviously really bad, having to go out to the 3rd base for the hatchery instead. So Stats having a little bit of a laugh at that. And yeah, that's that's where that is. Xeno1986 going to get a gifted sub from Malamike as well. Thank you so much for the generosity. Get some love in the chat, guys. That's crazy. Thank you so much for the love. Malamike, 6 gifted subs. To keep the hype going in here today. It's been a crazy kind of day here on the channel. Pushing past that 2,000 sub counter. Crazy stuff. All right. Game 2 of this best of 5, as we do see the probe in a little bit of trouble here. Drone having a bit of a nibble against that probe for a moment or two. The Cybernetics core from Stats setting up on the natural. Warp Gate will start, and the Adept from Stats. Chrono boosting out here as well. Twilight Council will drop down in the main, of course. When you get the hatch block like this, Glaive's open is very good because already a little bit of eco is draining out of the Zerg player in the early stages. And then afterwards, you know, you've also got the fact that you're losing a bit of eco, and this space is obviously further away defensively than this space is initially, so the first couple of adepts are a bit more annoying. And then, of course, all of that adds up to just the Glaive's attack being that little bit more difficult to really deal with going in towards the middling stages or so. There's Adept going to be going for a Zerglin or so. A couple of Lings continue to chase forwards, and this Adept is just going to survive. Just going to survive and make its way out up to the upper right. So away it will go. On the way up here. I see a gateway at the front. Robo already dropping down, of course. I mean, as mentioned, it's all building in towards this resonating glaive setup. So that's where we are at for the moment. Again, no real surprises there. I don't think it's really shocking to anybody or anything along those lines. It's not really many surprises at all for the moment. Yes. Soul asks stats if he's Zest because he's just going for glaives. You gotta love the fun between these guys, you know. Oh, I'm Cyril, says Sola. Go on, Stats. Tell him he's not. Tell him he's too bad to be Cyril. Go on. Tell him what's up. No? Stats has nothing to say to this. Retron coming up here from Sola. That's going to be finishing shortly. Although, I guess if you send your Cyril after saying your opponent is Zest, didn't Zest kill Cyril in IEM? So maybe Sola's saying he's going to lose. Maybe that's the logic here. Maybe that's the logic here, is this Stalker chasing a Zergling down to the watchtower. That Zergling will fall. Couple extra probes coming out here from Stats as we see the single Zergling of Sola slipping by through the natural and up in toward the main. His few adepts still just shading forwards, and they're going to come through to pick off another Zergling as well, so able to take that down as we have got the Warp Prism on the bottom side. Coming all the way down and across, we do see the rest of these adepts of Stats going to be shading forwards. We'll come on through, and a couple of drones already going down. Yachi only shaded a few. He's got a Warp Prism in the main as well at the same time, so a few drones getting picked away at here. Neutron's going down to start this off as these Roaches going to keep on fighting and finds a couple of the Adepts out the front, so we'll clean up there. Spine definitely helps with this, but of course the Adepts will still get a few kills before they're dealt with, and the Spine wasn't even burrowed, so 11 kills in total so far. Stats should be pretty happy with the damage he's getting done for the moment. Forge is going to be setting up from Stats as well. So again, that Forge up and rolling here as we see the few units of Stats around towards the third Nexus. So that third Nexus on the way up at the moment. Again, the Prism with a few Adepts inside, moving around a bit as well. Shield battery setting up at the third base. The Blink on the way from the Twilight Councils. Again, that up and running in this Immortal. Also going to be popping out in a moment or two. Adepts will load back up into the Prism and around the left-hand side of this. The Nexus going to finish up momentarily. Couple extra probes coming through. The +1 attack and the Blink. Chrono boosting away. A few more drones going down. Stats will escape back up this left side. 4 more Stalkers in production. And just going to be seeing that Bane and Nest of Soul on the third base. 4th hatchery dropping down as well. The +1 melee upgrade coming into play as our hallucinations all the way through into the main. Again, good information here from Stats here from early damage. It's in a nice playable position. It'd be nice to see kind of a longer PvZ where the game feels a bit more... I mean, it's obviously maybe not evened out if Soul is behind, but it feels like the longer PvZs we've seen so far today, Soul got very far ahead and he just kind of stomped through. I'm intrigued to see what he can do to maybe try and get back in the game a bit, because that, you know, constant pressure of Lingbait and Hydra can absolutely do that. The prism comes out and down to the bottom side. Temple Archives will be finishing. A few extra gates coming in. The cannon setting up. Circling gets picked off. Prism dropping back down, and again, a few of these adepts doing an alright sort of job at the moment. Lord's still just coming up the left-hand side as well. The +2 attack and charge on the way, although contaminated. Stats is looking alright to kind of have everything he needs here. The one thing that's a bit slow from Solar is +1 melee, right? And that means +2 melee is a bit later, so a few of his initial Bane run-bys here might not do as much as he might initially want to. But of course, after that, once you do clear +2 melee, you'll start one-shotting some of those probes, and that obviously goes a long way to help out as well. Solar back down to the bottom side as Stalker's able to come in already, picking off an adept there. Going to see how Storm's setting up from stats, and again, Lings, Roaches, Ravagers coming around on the bottom side. The Prism with a few adepts inside, trying to figure out where they want to go. As the Overlord will get picked off. So Overlord gets taken down here. The Storm still on the way up from stats as well, so getting that underway. +2 attack still coming in as well. Solar just going into that hive behind this, so really does want to get set up in towards the Broodlord, similar to what we saw previously against Patience in the semi-finals. Get set up in towards those Broodlords and really try and make stats tech up a bit, although stats already add in the Stargates. The idea of going up in towards an anti-Broodlord army is obviously on the mind of stats. He already knows roughly, okay, I kind of see what you need me to do. Like, I kind of see what you want me to do, what you're trying to make happen. So that sort of says, alright then, go on. I'll play your game as his Stargate comes up over in the main. A lot of Lings running up to the top side of the map as well. A few of these Banes continue to morph as we do see a couple Banes do reach the mineral line. The probes get choked up between these two pylons. And the Bane drop gets 10 workers, so it's a really nice drop from Solar. Some good damage. Against stats, he hasn't really taken much damage throughout the game, so generally is in a good defensive position and then not take much more. Now these Banes are just going to roll in. They're going to go for the couple of pylons here. Chase after some probes. There's not enough to get the Nexus, of course. There's actually the rest of this hold is good. Oh my god, the storms on the Zerglings are deadly, though. So Solar is losing a fair amount in this as well. As stats continue to defend across 4 bases. Of course, Solar is not looking to kind of do too much crazy here. He's got the Greatest Spire back at home, and as long as he's got the Greatest Spire back at home, I think he's pretty content. Because the Zealot has really got a Death Wish. He's pretty content to just say, okay, well, I'm going to get to Broods, and that's my real play in this game. Keeping you busy so that you don't deal with the Broodlords, or you're not set up to deal with the Broodlords as well as you should be. That's like, and you know, that's what he's aiming to do right now. He's just trying to slow stats down that little bit. And stats into the center. Roach goes down. The Fieldling's going to be pressing forwards as well. The rest of these Banes wanting to come through. A couple of force fields dropping down as well. 7 Broodlords on the way. The rest of these Banes taking a lot of damage once again. A couple of Corrosive Bowels forcing a bit of a split here. Archon still pressing forwards. More Bowels actually missing the majority of this army. As we push on into this, these Banes will come through. Not do enough just yet. More Corrosive Bowels not able to do much either. Wow, Stats is just going to crush through this. Now, the first Broodlords are up and running. Stats will just get this base and back away, I imagine, unless he really feels these Broodlords are exposed enough that he can just fight them, which he might. Stalkers do have the blinks they get in. There's a couple of Banes that come into this. Storm's available, and he's trying to chase those Broodlords down as their numbers drop. Of course, less Broodlings to help out. I'm not going to say it's over just yet. There's a couple Archons and Stalkers around this top side. Would actually go a long way to helping here. Maybe Stats should start to back away. He gets an extra round of Stalkers in. He goes for the blink. He just about gets the Broodlord. He'll get another one. Now there's just a couple of Queens really left here. One more blink forwards, and Stats is going to do okay across the map. Some Roaches are picking off probes and the base, but it looks as though Solar is going to be tapping out of the game. As Stats takes game number 2, ties this up 1-1 in the best of 5 grand final. Game number 3 tied up 1-1. Stats and Solar Kung Fu Cup Grand Finals. In the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player. It is Solar. Against the blue Protoss in the bottom right-hand side, we do have Stats. As we do have the pro block coming in once again early. Forces Solar to take this third hatch location. So Stats already getting off to the start he wants. Gas hatch. And Sooner Pool on the way, of course. Solar sets up here. Thank you everyone for joining us today, of course, for the Kung Fu Cup. A reminder, we have another event starting up in about an hour, the WardiTV European League Point Builder number 1 Group A. It's going to be featuring Raynor, Kello, Zerg, Kung Fu Bandra, and Max Pack. Should be a fun little group, nothing super crazy or super long, but a few extra best of 3s for the day, so that starts up in about, like I said, an hour's time. That should be a lot of fun as well. As the drone comes through in this probe, gets pushed back a little bit. Just going to be seeing the Cybernetics core setting up from Stats. Getting that up and rolling, and just going to be seeing the Overlord again continuing down towards this natural. So you have the drone of Solar coming through. Stats is going to end up back down the left side. A couple more queens being brought in. The Zerglings being built up. Do have our warp gate is actually coming down from Stats on the cyber core as well. So getting that going, a couple of drones continuing across here, and just going to be seeing the single Zerglin of Solar comes through and going to jump on that probe pretty quickly. So starts to push that back out into the middle. The Stargate of Stats drops in the main base, and another Adept coming across to start this off. But it is a Stargate opener, so not going to be going for the Twilight as you might usually expect here. Solar, by the way, just no Overlord across the map. Sorry, an Overlord right here. I'm so blind. I literally just looked at this. There is literally no red on this minimap. It is now because it's flashing. It honestly was not there at all. I was really confused. I was like, why is there no Overlord? So what Stats actually does is he actually builds Warp Gate before the Stargate. Usually you go Stargate before Warp Gate. So this makes it look as though it's probably going to be Twilight, when in fact it's the Stargate. And that maybe throws Solar off just a little bit as well, because right now Solar has to be prepared to deal with Adepts in the near future. But of course, in fact, it's just an Oracle, and that means Stats probably just sets up some sort of macro behind this. Maybe we actually see a bit of a... maybe we just see a bit of a... how do you say it? I'm just done. I've just got nothing to say. What the hell was I about to say, guys? Wardy Brain has just shut down. Maybe we see. I was gonna say maybe we see like a few Oracles and a few Adepts together in that sort of attack, but that's not happening. So never mind. That's probably why I shut down, because halfway through I realized no, of course it's not that, and then I'm trying to delete it from my main. Like, no, you didn't think it was gonna be this thing. It wasn't. Alright guys, it's okay. The best of us derp out at times as well. A couple queens extra on the way from Solar then, as the first Oracle will not do too much. The Overlord on the right side picked off by the Phoenix. He's actually going to go double Stargate Stats. Okay. Oh my god, he's going to drop the Fleet Beacon. So, this actually happened in the earlier matchup against Ragnarok. If you're just tuning in now, you might be like, what the hell? And trust me, that's what we were like a little bit early on also. As this Oracle of Stats comes out through the center. So, basically, he's going to go carriers. And you might be like, what? Yeah, he's going to build carriers. And he's going to go, essentially, kind of two-base carrier into a third Nexus. And just eventually switch back into a ground-based composition. It seems ridiculous. And it seems absolutely absurd. And alas, it might just work. It might just work as these feelings make their way over the right-hand side. Maulings all continue to gather up together. There's our carrier, Corona boosting out from Stats. Honestly, this was kind of a it was kind of a cool... It worked against Ragnarok. It won him the game. Because at one point, he came across the map with like 3 carriers. And he just was one-shotting overlords and stuff. Because they had +1 attack as well. Now, if you look at this as solo, you see the Cybercore rotating. And you're like, okay, well, maybe an air upgrade if you're paying attention. And that can maybe be like, okay, Phoenix. But he's actually going to drop the Spire already. And that's the perfect setup. Because now he's going to have Corruptors before these carriers can do anything across the map. And then... the carriers don't do much in terms of the early stages, in terms of what they can get done, etc. So that's where we are at right now. As you do see these few lings still hanging around in the middle. A Phoenix of stats on a bit of a patrol as well. Just going to be seeing our Roach Speed coming up on the Roach Roaring. And again, these few lings of Solar down the right-hand side, trying to get a probe. Carriers will kill the Overseer, which comes into Scouts. So they'll start to move across. Of course, he did this harassment and then just recalled them back home at the first sign of Corruptors. Obviously, again, Corruptors will be out pretty quickly here from Solo, so you can shut this down pretty quickly. That's the Forge in the Twilight. So like I said, transitioning back in towards a ground army beyond these carriers. As he continues to wander across. A couple oracles coming through. Maybe wanting to drop down a revelation or so. Cyber carrier's actually doing a pretty good job of this right now. A couple of queens being picked away at. Another queen going to go down as well. And just going to be seeing the... I mean, this is kind of nice, right? You get 4 queens already. The spores are forced. Now 13 Corruptors coming out, but you've already done decent damage. Now you just pull back and use the carriers as part of your main army. And because you force the Corruptors, there's not like a ground army of Solar that can really abuse this either. It's kind of a smart build. It's kind of a smart build. Feelings running in, these probes in a little bit of trouble. Deb's pushing those lings back up at the right side, and Ling's going to end up coming out around the top of this. Oracle's going through, a couple of drones being picked away at. Queen is going to find a kill, so one Oracle goes down. And the Banelin Nest just finishing up from Solar in the back of the Natural. The rest of these Corruptors still coming down the bottom right. Stalker's here from stats. A couple of shots hit some Corruptors already. Stalker and a Sentry, a little bit more damaging. Corruptors still taking some damage here then. Gonna line up that Caustic round to this third Nexus. See, I feel like this is what Stats really opens himself to when doing this build. Because it's like you force these Corruptors, so do you not just know you're gonna get Caustic sprayed? In which case, is it not worth getting extra cannons up or so to defend it? Like, I don't know, can you afford the extra cannons? Maybe not, right? But it feels like you should know at this stage that these Corruptors, it's like the best thing they can do at this point, right? They can't just go diving in on the army maybe, but yeah. Well, Corruptors in the center is Lungvein Ravager coming through. You just see Banelin Speed going to be finishing up from Solar here. So again, that completed. +2 melee on the way in, and a +1 flyer attack upgrade as well from Solar. Getting ready to go. Just seen Solar coming down. A few lings down the bottom, and an Adept going to get surrounded. Here comes Solar on a maxed out army pushing forwards. Now Storm is done to try and defend against this. The first Storm comes down. A few of these bins getting hit. He's going to storm the Corruptors. Obviously, if you can get rid of the Corruptors, the carriers do deal with the rest of this, but Corruptors for the moment do remain standing, and now the first carrier goes down, and now the others in some trouble as well, as Solo just comes pushing through. These Corruptors are very low, though, so 2 carriers remain alive. Can these carriers clean up the rest? I actually think they will. Oh my god, Stats going to hold. Only on 3 bases, yes, but he's going to come straight down and take a 4th base. So 2 carriers remain alive because of that. Solar has to rebuild some of his Corruptors. Every Corruptor was lost in this fight. And Stats is able to make a hold. Stats is able to make a hold. More Banes coming through. The Lings and a few Corruptors up. Plus 2 melee going to be finishing on the Evolution Chamber in the main as Zell goes charging forwards, and that Zergling gets taken down as well. So that fourth Nexus of stats setting up with the rest of these Lings continuing through the center. Next round from Solar. If he's really just going to try and bust this again, I'm concerned because the Storms are ready to go once more. It's a much smaller army from Solar. It doesn't feel like he's got... Oh my god, the Storm... High Templar has 16 kills on it. Oh my god, I wish Archons kept the kill count of the High Templar when they morphed in, because it'd be kind of crazy to see what happened there. This time now, though, the carriers are going to go down. Oh my god, this carrier is saved by the shield battery. These Archons now coming through for a lot of kills also. And that's going to be maybe another hold here from stats. Here's my issue, though. Right now, you've just got one carrier, and these carriers have been like a big part of defending because they're the units that are left over every time to clean up whatever else is left. One carrier does survive. Another round of Lingbane getting ready to go. We kind of need... We kind of need a... We kind of need a set of Storms ready. I'm just derping. My brain just doesn't work anymore today, apparently, in this grand final. Just how many times does my brain just stop in one series? So yeah, we kind of need a couple of Storms available again, but he's got the High Templars up. Adding some static defense. He obviously needs a fourth base as well eventually. At the moment, fifth coming through. He actually tries to save a couple of these Zealots up the top side, and looks as though it might work out for the moment. If stats can apply some counter pressure and force Solar to go and deal with that instead of just, full on attacking all the time, it's going to be a great addition, as we do have the Roach Ravager, Lingbane moving around, spreading out again. Stats, bit of a passive setup. Oh, there's no Overseer. Oh my god, he has to wait for Overseers all of a sudden because the Mothership is out. Okay, well that buys stats a few more moments. That's obviously great, especially with these High Templar. These High Templar just rocking it right now. Like, yeah, some of them are getting kind of closer towards the second Storm. There's one on 120 energy. Not sure it would last that long for sure. Yeah, the Mothership should kind of survive these fights. I mean, there's a few Corruptors in this, but that's going to take forever to get the Mothership, unless you Corrosive Violet, but I feel like there's more important targets. The High Templars on the top side need to not die to these Banelings, and they do pull away. They survive for the moment. Big Storm on the Banes on the left-hand side. Now a Time Warp. Storms again. Sora is running into the worst possible position, and so many Archons. This time, I actually think Stats just crushes this army, as we're going to be seeing him come on through these Archons. Okay, there's a few extra Banes showing up. And the shield batteries are good, kind of out of energy, so they can't do too much more. The Archons fighting the Roaches and the Ravagers on the ground. The Mothership pulling back. 400, 400. You don't want to lose it. He kills the Corruptors. The Mothership stays alive, and Solar drops the dots at the same time. Zealots are massacring a mineral line, and so Stats will have the numbers to take this out after killing so many drones, and Solar can't believe it as he has to leave the game. Stats 2, Solar 1 in this best of 5 grand final. Bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player needs to win this one to stay in the finals. This is Solar. And the top right-hand side, our blue Protoss player from Afrika Freaks is Stats. And that's a BK Rack. Thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Twitch Prime. It says, when Wardy wins, SE2 wins. When SE2 wins, I win. What a nice circle. I'm fairly sure Wardy promised a 24-hour spaghetti break and stream at 2,000 subs. I did not. But we can pretend we did if we wanted to. How do you break spaghetti for 24 hours? How bored must you get? Very bored. I suppose is the answer. Again, game 4 of this best of 5. Zen 4 map, and no attempt to Or if he did attempt to block, the block didn't go down. So Solar is just allowed as regular natural for the first game since game number 1. Rope coming around then, and Serral mode on, says Solar. Alright. Stats doesn't seem to care. Stats like, yeah, Serral, he's killed me in a few finals before. It's okay. I've seen more Zest mode on. Wow. Zest is apparently poor Trap was like, you know, Trap's like one of the best pros players in the world right now, but God, his PvZ sucks, so it's like, you know, I'm gonna go to Zest to try and take down Serral here. Oh. I feel like stats should just be like stats mode on. But that's the humor in it, right? You know, this is the this is the humor in the moment, I suppose. Where stats doesn't believe he's good enough, Solar doesn't believe he's good enough. They gotta summon the inner powers of their Zerg or Protoss brethren. Zerglin is coming across here from Solar across to the right side. Twilight Council is about to finish up. The Adept does a little dance. Sorry, the Zergling does a little dance before the Adept gets the kill. Oh my god, as the Twilight Council is done. And I guess Glaive starts shortly, unless we're just going to wait for that Dark Shrine. He's saving up the gas. It is going to be a Dark Shrine, so an Archon drop. An Archon drop going to be the setup here then from stats, as we do see this Overlord taking a few more hits. Overlord just going to be hanging out overhead. A couple Lings running around too. Trying to see what they can get done and see where they can get to. Obviously coming up the top side at the moment. Roach Warren, Lair. On the way up, extra drones coming through, a couple extra creep extractors coming out. Yeah, it's Dark Shrine about halfway done at the moment as well then. Let's see this Warp Prism also coming along nicely. And the Zerglin of Solar. Up and down the top side of the map at the moment. What does ZZ mean? Z is like lol in Korean basically. It's based on the Korean keyboard, so Z is on the same position as the laughing sound of the symbol for LOL. So it's just when they type in English instead of on Korean. Dark Shrine finished up, and I've seen these couple Lings around the top side, and seen a few roaches being built. Obviously, these couple of DTs going to start running in. Gets a crit team. It's not a bad start. Actually, could maybe have gone for the Spore Crawler here because there's just no units nearby. One DT just run up in the main, but there is an Overseer also up, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, look how much these DTs have done. It's kind of crazy. Wants to try and get this Queen, but Queen should be able to run out of that. The DT in the main base got shut down as well, so Star's not able to do much. We'll have to warp in 2 more DTs to get the 2 Archon drop going. Prism with an Archon inside, as we do just have the Blink on the way up. Forge coming through, Nexus on the 3rd base. Just going to be seeing the Shield Battery coming in as well. And the Warp Prism in the center still moving around a little bit. We'll have more Roaches coming in. Just going to see these Archons continue to come across, and just going to be having the Roaches getting picked away at the moment here. So again, damage being done. Plus 1 miss, plus 1 attack. The Blink on the way up. Stats just again a couple of Archons dealing some pressure. Nothing too crazy. As we're kind of hoping for a game 5 of this, right? Kind of cheering on Solar right now. Kind of cheering on these Roaches and Lings being made to come across the map and fight. As this is going to be a bit of an all-in from Solar as Ling Speed finishes. He gets some more Overlords ready to produce more units. No evolution chambers here, no upgrades on the way. So for once, guys, I'm cheering for the Zerg all in. Come on, Solar. Give us a game 5! You know we all want it. You know we'll be big fans. As the army comes up this right-hand side across the map, these Archons still coming back in. Now the entire army just moved across. It's actually a real good time for Archons to deal damage. You also probably need the Archons back at home to help defend this, of course. Recall available, and you should absolutely use your recall now. There's nothing else to use this Nexus energy on for the moment. Looks as though with the force fields, he'll... I want to say buy enough time, but now the army's already coming in. These Archons could already be a part of this fight. Shield battery actually healing up probes over on the side as he dodges away from the vials. Here come out Archons. The probes are pulled into this too. Stats is going to just lose all the probes. Try and buy himself just some more time. If he loses the probes, he can obviously recover. As long as he doesn't lose the army. So again, time is, in theory, Stats' best friend as he comes in for Immortals here. Although enough, obviously, the Archon goes down. The Archon's a real shame to lose because it's really good at cleaning out the Zerglings, and especially against Ravagers. The splash damage really adds up as well. Now a couple of corrosive bowels starting to connect. I really thought the Archon was going to survive to get healed up by these 2 shield batteries, but it doesn't. And that's obviously a real shame as Solar sits out the right side. A Ling rolling around on the top. 3 more corrosive bowels and the pylon will drop down. So trying to press forwards here. Mortals and Stalkers trying to see what's up. Pulling back a little bit. Stats as we're going to be seeing the army of Solar setting up on the right side. More Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers continue to be built. Solar just have too much here against for the 4 Immortals, basically. Force fields, last couple, because the sentries are out of energy. Here comes the micro from Stats. Has to be absolutely perfect to keep avoiding these bars with the Immortals at the very least. The Prism comes in to power the shield batteries for a moment or two, as now the War Prism's going to get taken down as well. There goes the micro, but some Stalkers get forwards, and the Ravager count taking some heavy losses. And these Immortals are surviving. He blinks in with the Stalkers to get another couple of Ravagers, but the Immortal firepower is still there. Stats will hold. When the War Prism went down, I started to lose all hope, but apparently he's just done enough already, and now he's chasing with the blink. Will not get too greedy. Will back away before too long. And Stats has held. The probe count now being rebuilt as he chrono boosts the Nexus. Happens if you actually get the probe in production. Good defense. The +2 attack coming in on the Forge as well. Chrono boosting that. The army still moving into the center here. Ling, Roach, Ravager coming across to the upper right-hand side. So here we go from Solar. A push that will end up going in toward that 3rd base in just a few moments' time. Again, +2 attack, chrono boosting on the Forge. He's going to cancel that because he realizes Solar is still all in. It's a really good idea. Realizes, okay, scrap the upgrade. It's not going to help me now, and I'm not going to get enough use of it later because I basically win or lose this game here and now. So here goes Stats, defense mode again. Again, I'm really worried about the lack of Archons to really deal with the Zerglings. So far, keeping the Roaches and Ravagers at bay while he fights off the Zerglings. Now the shield batteries are finishing, so he's bought himself some extra time. New Warp Prism. Micro has to be very good here. Pylon goes down, but it doesn't unpower these shield batteries as the next Pylon being targeted. Is it going to go down? It will cancel some of the Stalker Warpins. Immortals trying to dance, but they're stuck over to the side. And now all the Immortals go down. The Warp Prism's gone. And it looks as though Solar may just get this on the 2nd wave. As Stats is trying to blink some Stalkers, but without the Immortals to back this up, it's very, very tough. The Lings reinforcing now already coming across the map. And Stats down to 21 army supply against the 57. Corrosive bars to hit these shield batteries. There's just nothing to deal with the Zerglings. Nothing at all. As we're going to see 11 probes. Is just about going to be it. Stats is not able to hold on. And Solar actually has money in the bank to spend to rebuild once again. Couple more Stalkers here. Having to blink away. I mean, he's going to try and get another round of sentries, but it's going to be real tough. As we do see these Stalkers trying to come in again. A few more Lings coming through and still just trying to fight. Force fields going down. Corrosive Bowels popping the force fields. And the Lings trying to come around the backside of this as they try and catch Immortals, sentries, the Stalkers. Yeah, it's just way too much as obviously Solar keeps on knocking at the front door. Cybercore going to be going down in a moment or two. Just going to see again, Ling, Roach, Ravager continue to fight here from Solar. Just going to see this 3rd Nexus obviously is going to die eventually. As the Stalkers trying to keep this game alive, trying to give Stats hope. He'll fight until the very, very end, but it looks like we are indeed getting that game 5 here. Solar ties it up 2-2 in the series. Final map coming up, guys. We forgot, so it turns out we could have come back from the break a little sooner, but we didn't obviously miss any of the game. I just missed talking to you guys and saying some pointless stuff that you guys would have forgotten by now anyways, so it's okay. I guess we'll get over it. In the top right-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player here is Solar, taking this to a game 5 with that attack. This is going to be a real early hatchery. 15 hatch to stop the probe block of our blue Protoss in the bottom left-hand side. Stats. Game 5 of the series. I'm looking to see what will happen now. Probe stats behind the mineral line, nibbling away. Obviously trying to force some of the drones off the line here. Trying to slow that down as much as possible. Spawn pool dropping in the main base, then this hatchery on the natural going to be done soon as well. Overlord continuing down to the bottom left-hand side. And we'll see what the builds are going to be very soon. So the pool will finish up from Solar. A couple extra drones in production. Going to see our Overlord of Solar continuing down the bottom left as well. That Cybercore about to finish up. And these couple of queens going to be popping as well momentarily, of course, as you see this Adept going to get back to Chrono Boosting, so get that up and running. Again, a few Zerglings of Solar coming out on the natural expansion. This probe still pressing forwards a little bit, trying to see what's going on. There is a drone of Solar moving across to the third hatch location, so going to be trying to block this off a little bit. As you will see, the drone is chasing that probe. A couple Lings coming over. And of course, that Zergling speed is dropping down here in the main base as well. So nothing crazy yet. There's going to be a warp gate and then once again the Stargate afterwards. Something we saw from stats earlier too. That led in towards... That was actually what he did when he ended up going for that Oracle. Phoenix, Oracle, and then the second Stargate and the Fleet Beacon and the Carriers. I can't believe that build has a 100% win rate today so far. That's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy. Wardy, will there be several games in the next replay pack? There will, but I'll be straight up and honest with you. The several games are also just the ones from Stay at Home Story Cup, so they're already out in the Stay at Home Story Cup replay pack. So there's nothing that's going to be special or exclusive to my replay pack. Just the several games that I can't be bothered to filter out, basically. As you see these couple of Adepts going through, a few Lings coming around. Circling speed is going to finish up on the spawning pool as well. So getting that completed, and just going to be seeing the assimilator coming in. Stalker firing away on the Overlord, which will go down now. The Oracle is there for high ground vision. And the second Oracle. So actually 2 Oracles at the start here, obviously with the Overlord being shot down. Phoenix not so necessary. Rotron is in the back of this natural expansion, so Rotron already coming up. A couple extra queens underway. The extra drones on the way out. Again, our Oracle of Stats coming across over this right-hand side. It's going to go triple Oracle. We've actually not seen Stats go triple Oracle yet today, unless I'm horribly misremembering. Going to bring a few Adepts across as well, and already killing a Zerglin or so. And the Robotics Facility of Stats on the natural expansion too. So just the follow-up that gives you that access to the third base, gives you a lot of the tech that you're looking for. And now the Oracle's actually dive in and get a couple of drones. He very narrowly loses one, but just keeps it alive. Very nicely done there. It does mean the Oracles don't have as much energy for fighting these Zerglings if the Adepts came across. The Adepts do not come across the map anyways. They're just going to stay at home. The look of them moving across the map already scared Solo into some extra Zerglings, so they've already done their job. And so now Stats will just keep them at home. The Roboforge and Twilight, and obviously maybe they will make a part of an attack with a couple of Immortals or so. Around the 6:37 minute mark, you can push out a little bit and deal a little bit of a scare factor once again. These Oracles are going to have to drive by in towards the back of the bases here. As one of them is very low, looks as though he will just lose one. So loses one, another one taking some hits, and very, very low. Coming down the right side, this Queen on the third does not run behind the mineral line to try and get the kill. It would have gotten it, but doesn't quite get there in the end. Solar is going to start bringing the Queens across. So obviously no Evo Chamber here, kind of cutting drones on 38 as well. Something else you could recognize pretty quickly, or not at 38, but not rebuilding any of the workers as he's losing some. Thing is, Stats is kind of realizing what's up. He sees it with the Oracles already, so he knows the Queens are coming. He can start the shield batteries in the natural expansion. The Immortal is Chrono boosting out. Stats has got a few of these units here, just continuing to build up in the natural wall off. A lot more drones on the way. The lair popping very soon as well. There's a few corrosive piles dropping down, and the rocks are going to get picked away at here, so opening up space to move up this ramp more easily. Of course, you're kind of waiting for the Queens anyway, so you've got a bit of time. This doesn't slow down your attack too much. Maybe you could have brought the Ravagers forwards and corrosive piled a bit, but it's a little more dangerous. And then, of course, the Oracles have access on the Ravagers without the Queens being there, which is the whole point of the Queens being here. Archon being brought into play. A couple of Immortals, the 3 shield batteries, and now some extra Zealots warping in also. Has more corrosive piles. Honestly, the Cyber Core is not the biggest of losses in a world where you're already just working on Zealots and Charge. Obviously, Charge not ready yet. Time, kind of something that Stats would hope would hurry up right now. That Charge will help a lot in fighting this, obviously, as the front opens up and Stats just comes marching forwards. He does walk into a couple corrosive piles to do this. He sends his Oracles across the map. He didn't activate the energy. No! He, instead of attack moving, he actually just move commanded over a couple of different ones. Now he walks into another corrosive bile. He's recognized that Solar's being drawn in here, so he wants to come out and punish it, but I mean, he lost an Archon now. He lost an Oracle. That could have been some drone kills. I mean, Stats is going to have still a powerful push, don't get me wrong, but look at this army getting a little bit kind of all over the place. Oh, it's kind of all over, isn't it? This is a shame. Imagine he has the Oracles here now as well. The Queens are having to pull from other bases already, so now this is where the Oracles would really be ideal. Either the Queens pull and they're not injecting, or the Queens kind of just stay at their base, and then the Oracle's going to help fight. Stasis Ward going to come in. That's how the Oracle will look to help here. Evo Chamber's coming up to try and wall off those Zealots a little bit. Corrosive Piles on the right side as the one Archon gets lifted and the other one dropped down as well now. The Roaches and the Ravagers, obviously some good damage to be had here, but a couple of Immortals can work their way through them. Has to stay safe against those Bile Stats. Obviously all in with this. No third base yet. He will start it up now. Starts another Immortal, so maybe he is thinking about just transitioning through, but obviously he's very committed for the moment, and as long as that's the case, he's really hoping to do a bit more damage, I think, because if he comes out of this going back home at the moment, well, okay, he's up an upgrade maybe for a little while, not even that long. I just don't think there's enough. You're down a set of probes, obviously. You're down an army. Archon gets picked off here. 2 new ones just showed up to the party, but now you're juggling Immortals, now you're juggling Archons, and Solar's just going to keep on pushing through, and that's going to be pretty much all of this going down. Another Archon drops. Another Archon drops. Stats ... Sad faces. GG. Solar laughed his way to the victory. And Solar will win his 3rd ever Kung Fu Cup weekly. His first in 2020. His last Kung Fu Cup victory came in November of 2018. Of course, we didn't have these events for about a year, from December of 2018 to December of 2019. But it's been a little while. About almost 20 events since Solar's had a win, and he's played in pretty much all of them because he is a grinder. He plays in so many of these tournaments. GG's, Solar.